Hello friends, today we are going to review chapter 220 of Kengan Ashura. In this chapter the Fong of Matsudo, Kanoh Agito faces off against the Devil Lance Kuroki Gensai. Who do you think will come on top in this fight? Let's find out together in this video. The chapter starts inside the arena. We can see that everyone is excited to witness the battle between these two men. The announcer Katahara Sayaka comments on the crowd's excitement saying, "Just listen to those cheers folks. Just look at the excitement, this is no surprise at all. For at last, the time has come for these two men to clash." Somewhere inside the arena, we see both the man from the Land of Dreams Nizu Masami, and the brawler of the sumo ring Kyozen Takaru, commenting on the audience's behavior to this fight. With Nizu stating that the crowd's cheerings have changed, Kyozen replies saying that they're not chanting Fong no more. Golan also points out that the audience realizes that both Agito and Kuroki are evenly matched in this fight. He then begins to explain the advantages that both fighters have over each other, explaining that Kanoh Agito has a slight advantage in terms of build and reach. On the other hand, Kuroki's main weapon is his spear hand, which is enough to make up for his shortage in reach, and allows for a one-hit kill. But a fight like this would be difficult to predict the outcome, since both fighters are equal in strength. Finally, the referee enters the arena, indicating that the fight is about to start. The spectators, unable to contain their excitement, start shouting at the referee to begin the match immediately. The referee then obliged, and shouts at the fighters asking if they're ready. But before they start fighting, Agito and Kuroki exchange a few words. Agito asks Kuroki if he agrees to fight. Kuroki replies, to Agito stating that's a foolish question. Kuroki then proceeds to issue his challenge to Agito, which Agito proudly accepts. The referee then gives the order to begin the fight. The match finally starts, but both fighters has yet to move, which confuses the announcers, and also Suo, who wonders if it's a battle of endurance that's going on between the fighters. But despite the inactivity, the atmosphere of the arena is tense. The announcer Jerry speculates that both Agito and Kuroki are going for the same thing by trying to counter one another. However, Wakasuki Takeshi denounces Jerry's interpretation and explains what's really going on. He explains that both Agito and Kuroki are using a technique called striking pre-initiative, which involves attacking when the opponent thinks about moving by their inception of intent. But because Agito and Kuroki are masters of this technique, it creates a contest of who can detect their opponent's inception of intent first. Eventually the contest ends, and Kuroki makes the first move. He dashes towards Agito to deliver his signature move Devil's Lance. However, Agito dodges Kuroki's attack with such great speed, making it look like Kuroki's attack phased through him. Agito attempts to attack Kuroki, but Kuroki speedily dodges the attack, leaving an after image, which makes it look like Agito's punch phased through him. On the next panel we see both Agito and Kuroki clash in a barrage of punches, but their punches are not landing even though they're striking at point-blank range, which confuses both announcers commentating the fight. Hatsumi-san comments on the display of skill, saying that Agito and Kuroki are just showing off at this point. The narrator gives an explanation for this illusion, stating that by Agito and Kuroki reading one another's inception of intent, they are dodging attacks before it even comes, which is what causes their attacks to phase through each other. The narrator also points out that neither Agito and Kuroki are using kicks at this point. If one of them were to use a kick, it would leave them open too much in a fight like this. The most suitable time to use a kick would be after the stalemate has been broken. In order for this stalemate to be broken, it will be decided by who can predict the furthest and whose pre-initiative is better. Both combatants continues their clash, until Agito finally lands a hit on Kuroki, indicating that the balance they both maintained has been broken. Little by little, Agito attacks started landing on Kuroki until he manages to land a clean hit onto him. Agito prepares a follow-up, but surprisingly Kuroki strikes him with his Devil's Lance technique. Agito tries to remove Kuroki's hand from his chest, but Kuroki strikes again, forcing Agito to dodge, which results in his posture being broken. Kuroki tries for an eye poke, which makes Agito retreat. However, Kuroki follows up with another attack, but Agito reads this and uses his right elbow to intercept Kuroki's attack, breaking his fingers. By narrowing the places that were easiest to attack his head and neck, Agito baited Kuroki and predicted his next move. Taking his chance, Agito throws a flurry of attacks at Kuroki, but none of which seem to have landed. Agito realizes that Kuroki is using a form of Ryukyuan karate, called Sanshin. Hatsumi explains this technique, stating that Sanshin is one of the most simplest kata, yet also the most ultimate kata. A seasoned master using Sanshin can shake off any and all blows. So when a master like Kuroki uses Sanshin, it cannot be broken through so easily. Agito compliments Kuroki's Sanshin karate by comparing it to a boulder. But this doesn't bother Agito in the slightest, as he proceeds to hit Kuroki with a mean gut punch, making Kuroki cough out blood. Agito then taunts Kuroki by saying that he's made a bad move. In the next panel, the narrator explains that in a battle between masters of pre-initiative, once you go on the defensive, it's nigh impossible to recover. The fight continues as Agito follows up on his last attack, but Kuroki sees it coming and attempts to counter it, but unfortunately for Kuroki, Agito predicted this and pauses his attack halfway, causing Kuroki to miss and results in him getting punched in the face by Agito. Agito continues to apply more pressure onto Kuroki, causing him to lose his posture. His dominance over Kuroki has convinced the spectators that he will be the victor of this match. After all, this is the Fong of Matsudo and he is fighting at his fullest. He then prepares another attack, but Kuroki has something up his sleeve. Kuroki dodges Kanoh's attack and delivers a devastating chop to Agito, showing that he is also fighting at his fullest. But somehow, with just the knuckles on his hands, Agito breaks Kuroki's fingers yet again, and then proceeds to taunt him saying, "Oh, a chop? Good choice." He retaliates with a chop of his own, which sends Kuroki hurling backwards due to the impact. Kuroki thought that he had read Agito's next move, but Agito exceeded his expectations. Both Kurimi and Ichiro are shocked by Agito's performance. But the one who was most surprised was Okubo, as he noticed that Agito was using the same form he used against him in their last match. The final panel shows Agito in his formless form saying that he cannot face a master like Kuroki with his martial arts alone. So allow me to use this, me. That's all for part 1 of this chapter. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments and I'll make part 2 immediately. With that said, have a good day.